TikTok compilation that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
Jay-Z used to wear a t-shirt called "Do What Thou Shalt Wilt." Now, many people will look at that and think, oh yeah, that's a cool quote. But if you're not educated enough, you would not know where he got that quote from. And he got that quote from a guy called Aleister Crowley. Aleister Crowley was a renowned Satanist, right? Anyone knows about Aleister Crowley? The Beatles used him in their album. He was an Englishman in the 1940s who was a mad Satanist.
So why is Jay-Z using this?
I'll give you some things that Aleister Crowley used to do, yeah? He rented out a place in Italy, yeah, to do these satanic rituals, and they would do like mad rituals where they would have like group sex with like sheep. Then he went to Egypt and he claimed that he was being contacted by Isis, the pharaoh god. He also
so he was a madman.
He was a madman, but he claimed to be divinely inspired by Satan. And that quote,
how did he die?
He died a natural death here in Britain in a care home, and he's probably burning in a hellfire.
And what she's saying is true. Most people don't know this. Let me know how you feel about this.
Community is gonna hate me for this one. This is Michelle Lamy, and I fell into a deep dark rabbit hole last night finding out more about her. Michelle was born in the 40s. She is around 80 years old. She's worked as an attorney, a clothing designer, a performer, a producer. She was born in France but has lived in many places including New York and Los Angeles. And she's the wife of fashion designer Rick Owens, who is also known as the Lord of Darkness in the fashion community. Michelle actually discovered Rick Owens, and a lot of people credit her for his career. One time Michelle wore his head as a purse. I don't work in the fashion industry, so there's a lot of things that I probably don't understand, but Michelle is very highly respected among her peers. And many celebrities, like the ones pictured here: Usher, Kim Kardashian, A$AP Rocky, and Kanye West. She has a very distinct style. Every morning she draws a black line on her forehead, and she says she doesn't really have an explanation for it. She also stains her fingers black. It has been reported online that Michelle got her inspiration from the Amazigh women, who also used to paint on their face. She's also known for having gold-plated teeth, but the rabbit hole that I fell into last night has people convinced that Michelle is a high priestess or witch of some sorts in the Hollywood scene. Now, I'm not saying she is or she isn't, and I simply cannot get into all of the details. The information is out there if you want to look into it, but there's so much mystery surrounding this woman. Like I said, she is highly respected in the fashion and art industries. A lot of people really love her work, and a lot of other people are convinced that she controls a lot of what is going on in Hollywood and that there's something much more sinister going on, allegedly. Let me know your thoughts.
I think she's just as evil as Marina Abramovich. There's a documentary on Rick Owens you should watch. I went down a rabbit hole.
Why does this keep on happening? Someone is now claiming that they have found a dead rat in their bottles of Hershey's chocolate sauce. They said that they started pouring out the sauce on their brownies when they noticed a small hair. They decided to open the bottle fully and pour it into a cup, and that's when they discovered this. Hershey's themselves even commented on the video apologizing and asking them to get into contact. But the problem is, this is not the first time. There have been multiple claims recently of dead rodents in cans or bottles. And while it's hard to say which are real or which are fake, here's how it could have happened. You see, in the manufacturing process, cans or bottles that hold liquids are left without lids while a sealant is placed on the inside. If a manufacturing facility does not maintain strict hygiene standards, it's possible that rodents could climb or fall into these containers and go unnoticed until they are sealed, at which point it's too late. However, in previous lawsuits for this very thing, lawyers on behalf of the drinks companies argued that even if they were sealed in the can, the acidity of the drink would have decomposed the rodent before it made it to the customer. Or at the very least, the gases would have caused the can to burst or bloat. So the question is, do you think that people are actually finding dead rodents in their drinks or not?
This is too much, man. Imagine finishing a drink and you find a dead rat inside.
A very strange smell was coming out of that house until the neighbors called the police, and when the police discovered what was inside, they ordered the place to be surrounded immediately. This house had been abandoned for many years, and the neighbors never thought there was anything inside. But what they didn't know was that behind these walls was hiding a horror scene. The previous owners of this house had already moved there many years ago. One night they packed their bags and disappeared without saying anything to anyone, without even saying goodbye to the neighbors and friends who lived nearby. When they started to feel that horrible sound coming from the house, they became very suspicious and worried, even more so after the neighbors started to hear noises coming from inside that abandoned house. So they made a difficult decision. One of the oldest neighbors on that street decided to call the police to find out what was happening inside the house. An hour later, the police arrived at the scene, began to surround the house and investigate. But the worst part was when the police entered the house, because what they found inside that house scared all the police, and you won't believe what they said. That was inside. Comment home for part 2.
On the part 2, the police started to investigating. After they investigate, they find out that it was 1,000 plus tortoise and smelled awful, and all tortoise are dead.
Watch very carefully, because no one can explain what happened to Cardi B.
Yes, be involved. Y'all want to be involved so bad, but nobody asked me about them gift. What's good?
Look at the other host.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you. Take the gift cards.
Now notice how he claps 3 times and then it's as if nothing ever happened.
Take the gift cards, take the gift cards, take the gift cards.
Yeah, because they might put, what's that thing that was going around in the...
The internet had a lot of questions to ask when this clip was first released.
He didn't move, blink or nothing.
Notice how the presenter suddenly changes when she says, Holy Ghost.
Yeah, it's like they say in Catholic school, leave room for the Holy Ghost. Anyway, there is a lot of memories today, actually. It's a big day in music history.
The king of rock and roll, and as Mark Cohn says in his great song, Walking in Memphis, there's a pretty little thing waiting for the...
As you can see, not everything is as it seems. But here is the big question. What do you think is the reason for all of these celebrities freezing on live TV? I don't have an answer, and that's why I'm asking you.
MK Ultra Mind Control, folks. What do you think? Let me know in the comment, please.
In Japan, do you really have to work if you have $1.5 million? Maybe not in Tokyo, but in Osaka it's enough. And you don't even need 1.5,700,000 will do. If you've got 700 grand, you could buy 2 single-family houses, each around 1,000 square feet and equipped with 2 parking spaces. With some money left over, you could snag about 4 properties in decent locations, each around 500 square feet. Or, if you're okay with a slightly less prime spot, you could even buy a whole apartment building with about 200 square feet units, totaling around a dozen units, and you probably still have around 150,000 left over. One of my friends spent a little over 400,000 in Osaka to buy a building with multiple rental units. The location wasn't top-notch, but with all 12 units rented out, he's raking in over 7,000 in rental income every month. Now he's gone and gotten himself a motorcycle license and splurged 20,000 on a Ducati motorcycle. He's out there every day, cruising around with Japanese beauties, hitting the slopes in Hokkaido come winter, and surfing at the beach in summer. Talk about living the good life.
And the million-dollar question is, how do you get the permanent residents to be able to live there permanently?
If Russia wins this war and manages to extend control from this land bridge to Crimea to all of Ukraine, it will mark the first defeat of NATO. This would allow Russia to have a greater defensive position against the so-called NATO threat by controlling a significant part of the European plain opening. Additionally, Russia would control more than half of the Black Sea. If Russia wins, its next target will almost certainly be Moldova, and with the pretext of liberating Transnistria, Russia will annex Moldova, which would stand no chance against Russia. With control over Ukraine, Moldova, Kaliningrad, and Belarus on its side, Russia would likely put pressure on the Baltic states. By closing the Suwalki Gap, and with NATO being able to reinforce them only from Finland and Sweden, sadly, Russia would have a big chance of defeating them, and Europe will return to the 1989 Soviet Union borders. Since the Baltic states are NATO members, the alliance would have to react. So, what would NATO do?
Poland has one of the strongest militaries in Europe and has an axe to grind. They would solo Russia. What do you think?
Creepy last words people said right before dying. Registered nurse Shirley Smith said that she had a very rich patient who was a true Satanist that was dying of cancer. The patient had upside-down crosses and a Satan's Bible by her bedside.
What?
Shirley said that she will never forget what happened. It was the middle of the summer, and yet it was so cold and dark in her room that you couldn't even stand it, even in the middle of the day. She said that it got so evil feeling in there that she had to call a priest priest to pray with her and her aides before they would even enter the room.
Wow.
When the patient passed away, she had not spoken in over 24 hours. And then all of a sudden, she sat straight up and said, "Satan, take me." And then she fell back on the bed. Shirley said that after she passed, the room got bright and extremely warm. Shockingly, when they moved the patient's body, they had to get rid of the mattress because where her body had been, it looked burnt. And the most horrible smell was emanating from the mattress cover. Needless to say, Shirley went to confession immediately because she did not want an evil spirit around her. A nurse said that one of their patients had a serious recurrence and had to be admitted. Over the course of several nights, he had become quite upset during rounds. He kept asking for his wallet, saying that he had to pay the ferryman. The medical student on rotation in the department took a quarter out of his pocket and put it in the patient's hand. The patient then dropped the coin into the cup on his bedstand and calmed down. Later that night, he passed away quietly. The nurse asked what happened. The medical student, who remembered his Greek mythology, said that the patient had to pay Charon, the ferryman, to be taken across the river Styx. A nurse said that he was doing rounds at a hospital. There was one two-patient room, and one of the patients was a very loud and confused woman who could be quite a handful. On this particular night, she had a roommate who had passed away shortly before the nurse entered the room. She was DNR, so there was no code blue. When he entered the room, he noticed that the elderly lady, who was usually very loud and confused, was sitting quietly with her hands crossed neatly upon her lap. Something was different, and there was this look of serenity on her face. She asked him in a voice that seemed much younger and clearer than before, "Did you see them, young man? They're so beautiful." He said, "No, ma'am, there's no one else here." She said, "They're right next to you, talking to Mrs. Banneker. The angels. They're so beautiful." He said that he instantly felt every hair of his body stand up, and an electric tingle course up and down his spine. "They're not here for me this time," she said sadly.
A couple hours before my father passed, he kept looking up to the right corner and saying, "Jesus," which means Jesus. At that moment, we knew he was going to go. My mother gently brushed his hair with her hand and softly said, "Go, it's okay, go." He passed away last year at the age of 93. I miss him.
Brother, you can stop the trailer right here, because as far as I'm concerned, I done seen everything it is I need to see to know that I need to buy a ticket, okay? I'm already hyped that it's Gladiator 2, but now you done added in Denzel Quintavious Bartholomew Washington? Bro, I need a ticket. I'm already excited in general because, like, the casting looks dope, the overall trailer looks dope, but if you would have just stopped the trailer right here, you would have already done enough to get the money out of my pocket 3 times over.
The Gladiator is my favorite movie ever. I watched it so many times. I'm excited for Gladiator 2.
Invisible suit has been developed. Guys, look at this. Technology is evolving, and it's incredible. This is a suit jacket that is completely invisible, like the invisibility cloak in Harry Potter. It's the same thing as that invisibility cloak. The guy puts on a cloak, and there's a bottom part that goes with it. You might think it would be super expensive, but no. It's only $500 for a suit, which isn't that expensive. This is a brand new textile technology. It's the first time we've seen this, and it has suddenly become widely available. So if you want an invisible suit, you can buy one. There are websites selling them. It's really amazing. You could say you weren't at work, but actually, you were there wearing your invisible suit. This could get out of hand. The effect is almost perfect. You can still see the outlines and some effects of light, but it's clearly something incredible. Tell me in the comments what you think, guys, but this is a revolution. Thank you.
I have one, but I just cannot find it.
How you doing, bud? First of all, happy birthday. Thank you. Today we got hamburgers, hot dogs and sausages, fried fish, grilled chicken,
Man,
meatballs, macaroni and cheese, baked beans. And come over here, we got some watermelon, we got some angel eggs, we got some potato salad, we got some pasta salad, we got some cornbread, we got tea and lemonade homemade. What would you like? Just tell me everything you want.
I want me a sausage. I want a piece of fish.
Man,
Some chicken.
they eat like kings.
Some meatball. Yeah. Mac and cheese.
Ooh, let me get some of that. Ooh, that beans.
I want a double dip. Cornbread.
My goodness. Woo.
Some of that pasta salad.
Mm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Real serious question. I want to know what is his weekly food budget, because all of this must be costing a fortune to maintain on a weekly basis.
Scariest part of awakening is that you can no longer be the old you. You can no longer unsee what you have seen. And many times what happens is things have to change. People in your relationships have to change. Your career and your work life has to change. The things that you find passion in have to change. Why? Because awakening is a spiritual awakening. Awakening is a process of you no longer being this third dimension version of you. And that gets scary. It gets scary because the entire life that you have constructed was constructed from the old you, the fear-based you, the scared you. I'm here to encourage you if you're going through this right now, and let you know that you have the courage within you to overcome any of the obstacles and challenges that you're facing when it comes to your awakening journey. And the more and more that you heal, the more and more that you release, and the more and more that you heal, and the more and more that you release the control of the mind and the ego, the more and more that you allow yourself to tap into your heart, your intuition, your true power. And what I can promise you is this: life gets 100 times more abundant, 100 times easier, and 100 times more in flow when you have awakened. Once you face that fear, once you let go of what no longer serves you, and once you step into the new you and your new life.
If you're in Christ and have the Holy Spirit within you, you see the world from a different perspective. Even when facing difficulties, you can feel peace and joy in the midst of the storm.
How celebrities looks before surgeries. Kim Kardashian. Cardi B. Khloe Kardashian. Bella Hadid. Kylie Jenner. Megan Fox.
Pretty.
Angelina Jolie. Megan Thee Stallion.
Angelina Jolie is beautiful both before and after.
Is the devil in your eyes? Is he also an alien, or is it not a real person, not a real spirit? Who's the devil?
Let me tell you what happened. So you go again into the ancient tablets, you discover that a Yahweh, who's in the Bible is known as God, right? Yahweh is known in the ancient text as Satan, the Lord of Eden, E-D-I-N. The land between the Euphrates and the Tigris rivers is where they had the Eden, E-D-I-N. When he has his outdoor laboratories, what I like to call it, where they discovered that mating these people together would work if they had enough genetic diversity. What happens is his brother, Enki, who's now known as Satan, he comes in and he starts talking to the people there. And he starts telling them, it wasn't just Adam and Eve he was talking to, there were other people there. And he was telling them how powerful they really were. The mysteries of the universe was inside of their body, and that they had the ability to ascend even to a higher level than even them. These people then realized that they weren't animals, They clothe themselves. And by the time this Yahweh character, also known as Enlil, comes back, Satan, he realizes what's happened, that his brother has given them the apple. What's the apple? Knowledge. And so he gets pissed off.
Please don't listen to Billy Carson. He's a Freemason and is only here to cause confusion. There could be a catacomb, since catacombs are everywhere in France.
I have a video of a scary moment in the sky above the Syracuse, New York airport. It shows two airliners that look like they are about to crash into each other.
The video is shocking. Two airliners appear to be on a collision course Monday morning, caught on a North Syracuse, New York police dash cam. Air traffic control cleared American Airlines Flight 5511 from Washington Reagan with 79 people on board to land at the Syracuse airport, and then appears to clear a Delta flight for takeoff from the same runway.
5421, driver runway 28 cleared for takeoff.
Cleared to take off runway 28, there's 5421.
Wait, who's cleared to take off on 28?
The American pilots sounded the alarm.
Blue Street 5511, Syracuse Tower, go around. Going around, Blue Street 5511.
As that American flight climbed to about 1,825 feet, preliminary flight data shows it was on the same course as Delta 5421 as it was taking off for New York's LaGuardia Airport with 80 people on board. At their closest point, they were separated by only about 725 feet of vertical distance, with the American regional jet appearing to pass directly over the climbing Delta plane. 2 seconds later, they were about 625 feet apart vertically, but the Delta flight had started a right turn away from American 5511 and potential disaster. When the two planes reached the same altitude about 16 seconds later, possibly the moment seen in this video, they were actually a mile apart. The FAA is now investigating.
Maybe if air traffic controllers weren't working 6-day work weeks and 10 hours days weekly, it's a great rewarding job, but when you're even a little fatigued, stuff like this can happen.
These guys were floating down a river when they came across a massive orangutan. Luckily enough, he was a pretty sweet guy, but he does require a toll to pass. And I'm assuming this is not his first time being down this way because he was prepared. He had enough food on him to pay the toll, and the orangutan was grateful and allowed him to pass.
Orangutans always have a shaman vibe to them.
Hit a guy in a bar one time. That turned into an aggravated assault. That turned into a felony charge. That turned into, a mountain of falling down. I have a top secret clearance. All this. They're flying people up in the command to mitigate the problem. It's on the video. And long story short, I'm getting sued for $500,000 civilly, and because I broke the dude's orbital eye socket. Right. So there's that piece. Right. And so I'm paying for his surgery and all this, which is fair. Right. It is what it is. He was fine. Then I also have the criminal side where my plea deal is 6+3, right? 6+3, they want to throw the book at me. Seal punches this guy in a bar. They don't want that. So that's what I'm facing. So I'm hemorrhaging cash. I have really good attorney and this and that. And so I'm fighting this case while still active duty, still training, still flying back, go to court cases. It seems like, hey, figure that out and whatever. They ended up allowing me to go on bail. I'm on bail. I go to Iraq on bail. So the team wrote a letter. The court said, okay, just how divine intervention worked. The judges changed and stuff. And so it kicked the can down the road. And long story, they were like, hey, we're going to let him go to Iraq. And so I'm in Iraq now. And this was 2015. Stressing, man, right? Everyone's looking forward to coming home, and I was not. I actually volunteered to stay out longer.
How does a trained Navy SEAL lose his temper in a bar and beats the living out of a weak civilian? Could it be that this guy deserved everything he got and maybe more?
8 days. You went from, you took your husband from, he's going to be on medication for the rest of his life.
Yes.
to not needing the medication at all?
April 17th was his last day taking medication.
And he has not taken the medication?
Has not touched it.
How did you do this?
We discount the power of God's food. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Right?
Right.
Like, that's what it is. Like, that's literally what it is. See, when you say, what do you do? I teach people how the body works. See, when people know that, this is what I explain. I say, when you really understand this concept, I call it the cell theory, then you understand how this works. Like, so if you break us down to our most basic unit, we're made up of cells.
Right.
Right? Well, cells make up tissues. Tissues make up organs. Organs make up organ systems. Organ systems make up the organism, the person. Okay, so you say it takes 19 essential vitamins and minerals with 9 amino acids with the perfect protein to make a perfect cell. I know. Hear me out, right? If you're missing one nutrient, you're making imperfect cells for 7 days, and those imperfect cells manifest into disease. And so what I know to be true is there's one root cause of disease, and that's malfunctioning of cells. One root cause.
Not having all of those nutrients.
That's right.
Causes the cell to malfunction.
That's right. So where do you get the nutrients from? So to have a healthy cell, you must give it the right nutrients, right? God's food heals people.
God's food heals people, and you are a vessel.
There you go.
The truth is hidden in a plain sight. We are one with the nature. If you want to know more about the herbs from our Creator's garden, this ebook will unveil that for you. Let thy food be thy medicine.
People are waking up to the true value of food to our health. Thus, the reason food is now under attack. And where do we find this kind of woman?
Okay, this is strictly for entertainment purposes only. Everything I'm saying, we're just screwing around, making this stuff up. TikTok, don't take this down. Okay, that being said, let's get into it. Okay, I know you guys have all heard people talk about how what you're seeing play out in the world right now. People have talked about that this is a movie. And if you don't understand what that means, I'm going to try to explain it for you. What that means when we say that is basically this has been a psyop for years. There is something going on in the background, and it is a psyop. The military has already arrested the bad guys. This, what you're seeing on the news and what's playing out in front of us, is all strictly because it needed to play out to show the American people how corrupt these people are. The people have already been arrested. They've got Gitmo, some of them are even dead already. I'm going to show you why we know that these people are gone. Okay, there's a website called IMDb. Okay, this website is strictly for actors and actresses. They have to pay through their Actors Guild. You have to have something under your belt to prove that you are an actor or an actress. You can also be an author. I believe you can be also in a play. But you pay dues to be on this website. You just know the normal person cannot just go put themselves on this website. Okay, so IMDb, I'm sorry, IMDb. I'll have the thing up top. Anyway, if you go on this website, you're going to see things like this. This is Karine Jean-Pierre. Some of you may recognize her as being Biden's press secretary, and she is. She's the one that gives the briefings to everybody, all the press. Now, if you go on IMDb, you're going to notice that when you type in her name, it says actress. That's because they're all actresses and actors. Some of them will be producers and things like that, but they're all there. All of basically of our Congress is there. So when you go and you look these guys up, like Schumer or Pelosi or McConnell, all these guys, you're going to see they're either a producer, an actor, an actress, but they're all there. This is why Trump keeps saying about central casting. Central casting hired these actors to play these parts because the real people are already captured. And they're probably at Gitmo. So, go look for yourself. I'll leave the link up top of where you need to look. And I hope that gets an explanation as to what we're talking about when we say about it's a movie.
I don't know anymore. I'm beginning to think we're being played on both sides, but that's just me.
Yeah, check this out. Speaking of dragons this year, did you guys happen to catch what this reporter said on live TV? Check this out.
Louisiana could be in play at this point. A very unpredictable storm this is. The dragon has been released. Not only, Robert, more dragons to come. The dragon has been released.
So you obviously heard the reporter say that the dragon has been released, but did you hear what the anchor said? Listen to this. Listen.
Not only, Robert, more dragons to come.
So the anchor said more dragons to come, and then the NOAA says that this is an above normal 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. They always want to give it a name just to make it more appealing and then more difficult at the same time, instead of saying this is a cyclical change that happens every so 1,000 years, and as well as the oceans warming up. He says more dragons will be released, and Beryl was the first of the dragons, because I showed y'all this. Y'all remember this? Y'all remember this? When I showed y'all all of this? See, gematria will never fail you. It always tells the truth. And then I also showed you all the dragons in the sky, primarily where Hurricane Beryl was at. People also sent me more dragon pictures. I just didn't get to outline them yet, but here's one. Here's the real picture, just in case if you say, oh, you just drew that in. Tell me that don't look like a dragon. I'm not gonna show all of them, but yeah, this is around where Hurricane Beryl was. And then this is the infamous Korma one. For everyone that watched Naruto, this is his dragon that lives within him. Or his fox, but you really can't tell the difference though. Look at that. Let me know what you guys think. Follow me for more.
Unleash the Kraken.
So the founder of Oakley just listed his property on Zillow for $68 million, and this is how it looks. This looks like a coliseum. This is a courtyard. It's super industrial. It's so interesting, but it's so cool to think like this is the mind of like Oakley. You know what I mean? Even the theater looks industrial. This is the office. Wow. This is his bathtub. This is the powder room? Shower? It's super industrial.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm walking through like Roblox. This is definitely like a Minecraft house. Look at the kitchen. This is crazy. Like, this is insane. Me inviting everybody over and saying, come chill by my fireplace. And it looks like something from iRobot. You can't beat this view.
And he sold his Malibu mansion for $210 million. Florida state record, by the way.
We got our fish beautifully seasoned. And it's about to hit that deep fry over there. Look how beautifully seasoned that is. Gonna batter that thing up. Look at that. Beautiful. A little bit. We want it heavy on that. Loading it down. Fish beautifully seasoned. Beautifully colored. That's what I'm bringing to the fish fry right here. And y'all know what we about to do. Better baptize this fish. To hit the grease, you want to hit it. You want to roll them. Watch this right here. Beautiful. We got that fish golden brown and pretty. Come here. Come here real quick. See that fish floating? When it's floating like that, you know it's ready. Look at that fish right there. Been baptized in that grease. You know where to plate something up? Gotta hit that breakfast Bella hot sauce now.
Ooh.
There's some good eating right here. Look at that right there.
Beautifully seasoned. Yes, Lord. Love it. Give me like 15 of them, sir.
They scatter. A minute or two later, bro, the grass was like waist high. And I remember the grass being mowed around us. It just started getting chopped down in all directions, all 360, it lit up. And I remember looking back at my spotter. The recce guys are already breaking contact. We go back and 4 of us jumped into the hole. Dude, we were getting lit up, bro. I cannot describe how intense the fire was around us. And then it like stopped. And we just heard pow, just one crack at a time. But the intervals were very consistent and very accurate. And I'm like, oh shit, we're getting engaged by a sniper. And then it clicked. What the Marines told me before coming into that area, they were like, dude, 1, we cannot go with anything less than a brigade. And we're out there with less than 35 guys. 2, there's a Chechen sniper that's working that area, and he's been out there for a while. He has a, supposed to be a big record. He's been fighting for way longer than your average fighter, supposedly like the Soviet days or whatnot, and has been like a mercenary in that area, and from a Chechen sniper. So I deduced it down to this is him. He's good, really good. So I call it up. We're being engaged by a sniper. So I'm trying to do a snap bang where I hear the crack and I wait for the report of the rifle, like lightning and thunder, and I'm getting a general idea of how far away the sniper is. So I pinpoint him to this tall building. It's where I would be if I were a sniper. Zoom in, I'm looking, and I'm not too sure, so I go to pick up my head, and crack, bullet goes by. Look at Pemberton, he goes to roll over, crack, bullet snaps and pops up dust next to him. Then it started getting way more accurate. Me and I call him Jay, the team lead from Recce, me and him pop up, and we're almost helmet to helmet, bro. And a bullet between us, he pushes off of me, I push off of him, and the next thing I heard was the medic screaming, "Who's hit? Who's hit?"
Bro, if he thinks fighting those guys is traumatizing, he won't last against the Russians.
Didn't we just find the Illuminati's main office? Every secret society's main office or base is located somewhere in the world. Some are public, like the Bohemian Grove, some are hidden, and then there are some bases which are hidden, but in plain sight. The world's second largest airport, Denver International Airport, has some really interesting things. While building this airport, it went over budget of $2 billion, and according to the reports, it is said that under this airport, there are 5-story buildings, which could be for the Illuminati in the times of nuke or something worse. Also throughout the airport, there are disturbing paintings which portray doomsdays, apocalypse, and a lot more. One of the most overlooked statues of this airport is the Blue Mustang statue, which is called Lucifer. We all are pretty much aware of what Lucifer is. Till now, all of this might have sounded normal, but there's a time capsule which has Freemason symbol on it, and it's from 1994, and is buried inside the airport, and it can't be opened till 2094. Maybe in 2094, we'll get to know all the secrets behind this airport. Let me know your thoughts on this creepy airport.
It'd be more secret than that for sure. It's just a control opposition base for tricks.
Alright, the chessboard's really cool. Life-size chessboards. You move them. And the view is nice.
And this goes to show why Chris Brown is the way he is with everything he does. Like, he has to stay protected at all times. I think this is one of the women at a meet and greet recently. I'm not sure, but correct me if I'm wrong. Let's all keep it a buck, okay? If y'all saw her face, y'all cannot sit here and tell me that she looks like a human being. Come on, let's be for real now. Y'all remember that time when the industry wanted to take Chris Brown in and he rejected it? Well, this is them trying to get back at him. I'm telling you that right now. If y'all didn't know, Chris Brown just made $9 million off of 3 shows on his 11/11 tour. That's most than like all these people when they be doing their tours too. Of course they're jealous. So you know what they're doing right now? They're sending an entity after him. Y'all cannot tell me I'm wrong. It's literally happening right in front of our face. You guys just gotta think. Chris Brown just made a post about it and he was like, I'm not gonna lie, this shit is scary. Hey, prayers to you, Chris, and your entire team, your entire family. This just needs to be a beautiful 11/11 tour. You know, nothing but positive vibes, but now you got this shit coming after him right now. We all need to hold Chris Brown in our prayers, pray after him every night, because it's probably just gonna get worse and worse by the day. Chris, if you ever see this video, just like you say in your song, make sure to stay 10 toes, watch your back. I know you're doing it already, but it seems like they're trying to act on something right now, and you need to be prepared for it, bro. All his dancers, y'all be prepared, because they're threatening you guys. That lady is threatening all of you. My thing is, how the hell is she able to get right next to Chris Brown's house? Who does she know that we not know? This shit getting out of hand, bro. It's getting out of hand, and it's not like this is not even funny. Like it's not a joke. Like everybody be thinking this stuff's not real. It's real. It's real. And if your mind chooses to not believe it, then you're a sheep. You know what I'm saying? There is a spiritual war going on, and if you know about that stuff, you know it's happening right at this moment. Y'all just need to be woke, man. This isn't a joke. Chris Brown, my prayers to you, man.
He needs to pray too and give his life to Jesus. And I feel like the chessboard is symbolic also.
The Bible tells us to take every thought captive and make it subject to Christ. Notice it doesn't say ignore the thoughts you don't like. It didn't say simply neglect the thoughts that are negative. It says take every thought captive and make it submit to the Word of God. See, Paul's using language of warfare here. You have an enemy, thoughts that set themselves up in opposition to God, and so you take it prisoner. You question it, you interrogate it, you ask it, where did you come from? Who sent you? What root door of insecurity did you walk through? What lie did you believe to get here? And then after you collect enough data to help you the next time they come around, you subject that thought to the truth of God's Word. And that's how you win the battle of the mind.
I reverse it. If the thought is, it's too hard, I can't, then I say, yes, I can. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Okay, we might as well move on to the next crazy set of eyes. We've already covered dead eyes. We've covered snake eyes, which actually equals reptilian eyes, which I knew about the reptilian eyes. I didn't know it was one of the same, but let's move on to Sampuco eyes. Let me try to pronounce this. Sampaku eyes. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Sampaku
okay.
eyes represents something tragic, almost like whoever has these eyes, there's a big tragedy, some point in their life. It's also said that it gets worse or more dramatic the closer they are to tragedy. Now, this isn't fact. This is just what is said about them. But let's go through some famous people that have them. What's crazy about the Michael Jackson one is I never noticed how dramatic the white under his actual eyes are until it was pointed out to me. I never thought his eyes looked weird. Now I think they do. Absolutely Sampaku eyes. Absolutely. This is JFK, and earlier pictures, I did not see the Sampaku eyes, but this is a later picture of him, and you could see it. It's not drastic, but it's there. Aaliyah definitely had Sampaku eyes. Definitely. What a sad life she lived. I feel so sad for her. Let's move on to somebody who's actually still here. This is very, very dramatic. I mean, it even looks more dramatic in this picture. I don't know how current this is, but wow. Let's keep going with this eyes thing. It is fascinating to me how your eyes paint a picture of your soul. It just says so much about somebody. And it's so accurate. Now, I don't want the Sampaku eyes to be accurate because I don't like that stuff. But it's just such a weird coincidence. Oh, and by the way, the snake eyes, you guys could have been more specific and called them reptilian eyes. I know. I've been on this app long enough to know the reptilians, okay? I didn't know they were the same. I was looking for something different. But anyway, if you want me to cover another set of eyes, let me know.
Now I gotta go look in the mirror to see if I have it and never notice.
I don't know if you remember Esther Baxter, the little vixen, the video vixen. She used to write me all the time, talking on the phone and, you know, writing in the letters, and she was sending me pictures. So she told me, oh, I'm going to be in your boy's video next week, and I'm going to tell him about us. He just said some foul shit like, oh, why you writing him? You could have anybody you want, and you talking to a motherfucker in jail. And I was like, that motherfucker said that? And when I first talked to him, it was a whole different story, though, you know, because he didn't have no bodyguards, and, you know, he in the office with 3 or 4 dudes. He don't know who these dudes are. He don't know if they my boys or what's going to happen to him. So he was a little shook. And I could tell, then I was a phone expert. I mean, I could talk to you on the phone. I could tell if you were sick, you know, by the tones of your voice. Anyway, I called my boy from Smooth Magazine, who was from New York. Like, man, you know this dude here, man. Who know this dude? I need to talk to this dude. He said, man, he's going to be in my office Monday. I'm going to let you talk to him. So I called at 9. He didn't tell him who I was. He just handed the phone. So he got on the phone. I said, hey, man, how you doing? And he was like, oh, I'm cool. Who is this? I said, this is Rick Ross. He said, oh, man, I love you, man.
People have said that Alex Jones is actually working for the CIA. And it's because he says all these crazy conspiracy theories or like stuff that's happened and but he adds in Hillary Clinton is a lizard woman. So it like discredits everything he says. So people are like, they're saying that he's saying real things that are happening or are going to happen. It's immediately discredited by how psycho he is.
You have to at least agree that that would be a good strategy.
Yeah.
If you were trying to like make something seem silly, you would put it among other very silly things.
What do we call that tactic? The silly tactic?
Yeah, I think there's only one way to handle this, General. I think we gotta get silly.
Somebody call Alex.
So yeah, bring in Mr. Jones.
But it was funny on the Joe Rogan podcast I listened to, he was saying crazy stuff. Joe Rogan was like getting mad at him. He's like, what proof do you have? And he's like, I'm telling you, man. He's like, Jamie, look it up. Everything Alex Jones was saying, Jamie's like, yeah, he's right. And then Joe Rogan's like, this is what's driving me nuts. He's like, 95% of the things that you say are indeed correct, but you're being a psychopath about everything.
Your delivery is so whack.
It's correct more often than 99% of reporters. The only time he's maybe incorrect is something outlandish.
People are waking up. I'm not a religious person, but don't you guys find it weird that Christianity and believing in God is like the taboo or weird thing to do? People can mock Christianity, but God forbid someone attacks like the Muslim religion and everyone will freak out. Even when I see celebrities clearly worshiping like Satan and I point it out and people are just like, oh, it's just art, or oh, it's just a cheap way to get views. Worshiping Satan is? Call me crazy, but no matter what religion you are, even if you're atheist, worshiping Satan, I'm not sure why that's on the top of it's fine list. Don't you find it odd that Hollywood or the music industry has no really positive references to God or Christianity? There is blatant Satanism in music videos, and every time someone tries to point it out, they're looked at like they're crazy. Even people in Hollywood, when they spoke out about Satanism in videos, they're looked at like they're crazy by the media. Don't you find that a little suspicious?
It cracks me up, man. The devil is overplaying his hand, and the Lord is about to clean shop in the culture. Excited for it. If you agree, click follow or subscribe for more.
And non-believers still think that there's a coincidence. You know, like Neymar, the soccer player, when he was praising Jesus a lot, then they made him stop by paying him $500K. He accepted.
And then suddenly she says, well, you know, I just, you know, the one thing that made me very uncomfortable is the picture of Joe standing right next to bedside. I'm like, which picture are you talking about? Rob, can you pull up that picture? It says, Tom, you ever seen this picture?
You told me about it. Yeah. I've not seen the photo.
So, Tom, you've seen most things. You're a well-read guy, and you've never seen this picture. You're about to see it. Joe Biden, his wife and daughter are killed on December 18th. 2.5 weeks later, he's being sworn at the hospital bedside with the kids laying there. It couldn't have waited a month or 2 more months after the mourning of your wife and your daughter.
As we've seen some diamonds.
What? That's crazy. I don't even know about this. Do you know? Drop a comment.
Some big diamonds. We've never seen a 65 carat
Perfect.
D flawless.
It's a big
before.
one.
Type 2A.
Type
Excellent,
2A.
excellent. Everything's perfect about this diamond.
I have to touch it.
Yeah, take it. No, you could do whatever you want.
Unreal. You want to play catch?
Wow.
It's beautiful.
Catch?
No. No. my insurance company won't appreciate that.
Okay, so everybody is dying to know. This is incredible.
The value?
Yes.
Well, this diamond retails for $18 million.
18.
Yeah.
Jacob the jeweler.
It's insane. I'm in love with this diamond.
That is incredible.
I hope the camera does it justice.
Hold it really flat for me, so just with your hand.
And it's Usher cut. Like the very first diamond was cut
just so I can
in that shape. You know
How's that?
Right, Michael? The very, very first diamond ever cut was an Usher cut.
Really?
Yeah.
This is an Usher cut?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a beautiful cut. It's like a square emerald, basically.
Exactly.
If diamonds can be produced in lab, how is it they're still so valuable? I mean, it kind of takes the rarity out of it.
A natural diamond mine right now. These miners in Sierra Leone are looking for a diamond that could change their life. And the way they do that is during the dry season, they pack this dirt. And during the wet season, they break it down and one shovelful at a time throw into something called a rocker, where they wash away the mud, revealing the gravel that could contain the diamond. They take that gravel, throw it in this pan, move it up and down, and the diamond should move to the center. Now, if you think I'm out here in the middle of Sierra Leone looking for a diamond to sell, that's because you're stupid. I'm actually out here to protect these guys' only chance to make money, because lab diamonds like this one are threatening to take that livelihood away. That's why our team is on this fair trade mission, to make sure you understand that when you buy natural diamonds, the capital should flow into the communities that need to develop themselves the most.
Behind the diamond business are the people.
Right.
And people are more important than diamonds.
Like and comment to support the people of Sierra Leone.
Man, reminds me of the movie Blood Diamond.
Did you know that your body will actually reject things when they are not meant for you? And this is people, places, and things. So this might sound kind of crazy, but you will literally get physical symptoms when you are with people or in places that does not resonate with your energy. This has happened to me before. It's happened to my sister. And actually one of the craziest stories was it happened to one of my friends. I'm going to tell you guys about it. So she was dating this guy for a while. And as they were getting kind of more serious and talking about settling down and buying a place, she started getting random anxiety and panic attacks out of nowhere. And she is not someone who has really struggled with these sort of things before. So it was completely new to her. She had no idea what was going on. It was like the craziest thing ever. And there was no reason for it. Nothing had changed. And so this started going on for almost 2 months before she decided, you know what? Hey, this relationship isn't really serving me anymore. I don't feel right with it. I'm going to end things. And you guys, when I tell you, the second she ended that relationship, all of her anxiety gone, all of her panic attacks gone, and she hasn't had any since. It's been 3 years. So if you are with people or in places and you start getting random bodily symptoms that you don't normally get and you can't figure out why, it is because your body is rejecting the energy around you. Listen to it.
Every time I go into works, it's like my whole body shift gears. I'm suddenly getting headaches, feel lightheaded, and brain fog. Soon as I leave, I'm good.
Okay, I'm a gold digger, and this is the stuff we are chasing.
I'm a gold digger.
Over $40,000, excuse the flies, over $40,000 worth of gold sitting in my hand.
Nice.
Dad's in the loader behind me. I also buy and sell gold. I've bought most of that stuff. Some of it we've found. But that's what we're chasing. Look at this Aussie gold.
Wow.
Nothing better. This is why they call us the Golden Outback.
Very inspiring.
We are in the biblical end times. Give me 1 minute to prove it to you. In this 9-part series, I'm going to show you irrefutable proof that we are in fact in the end time. Daniel chapter 11, verse 32 and 33 says, during the time of the Antichrist, they that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits, and they that understand among the people shall instruct many. I want to make sure you understand in this 9-part series.
The last days began at the close of Christ's ministry on earth and will continue until his second coming.
Your food in the right order. So next time you're faced with a meal, there's something amazing that you should know. If you eat the ingredients in the meal in a specific order, you can reduce the glucose spike of that meal by up to 75% without changing how much you're eating, what you're eating. Just the order has a massive impact on your glucose. So you can still eat the same meal with way less spikes and way less consequences. So the right order is veggies first, proteins and fats second, and starches and sugars last. So let's take an example of a meal maybe. Some fish, some broccoli, some pasta, some olive oil and avocado, and a cookie. So the right order for your glucose levels is going to be the broccoli first, then the fish, then the pasta and the cookie, and the avocado and olive oil. You can kind of have it like with the fish. But there's a few things you should know. Number one, you don't actually have to wait between any of these foods. You can just eat them one after the other and still get the amazing impact on your glucose levels. And number two is that the veggies should come first. So what I do now, always have a veggie starter at the beginning of a meal, and then we just eat the rest of the meal kind of normally. And that already has a massive impact on your glucose levels and how you're going to feel.
She says veggies first, protein and fats second, starches and sugar last.
We are on the verge of World War III right now. This little game we're playing with Putin, who, by the way, isn't confused. They're not confused about what a man is over there. No, no, no. Russians know what a man or a woman is. They truly do. They're not very progressive. Who's building more churches and mosques in this world right now than anybody else? Putin. Putin. Am I going to say that I love Putin and I'll tell you what, that man has more honor in his than Joe Biden or Rishi Sunak has in their entire body. When you listen to that man talk, it makes sense.
True, but nobody is listening until it's too late.
This Florida man's face became more and more of a nightmare each time his mugshot was taken over the course of 8 years. Florida man Robert Hardister went viral recently for all 9 of his mugshots that showcase his face getting more and more disturbing and covered in awful face tattoos. Now, each charge associated to each of these mugshots ranges anywhere from theft to fraud, to sleeping in stolen cars, to even possession and distribution of substances. But after these mugshots recently went viral, a brand new one, a 10th mugshot has surfaced, and as you could assume, it is even worse than the previous one. And it seems the next step is nothing short of going total blackout of the face. Some people in the comments have expressed that this poor guy is nothing more than a victim of the broken system, and that's what has happened to him. Others, such as a few ladies, have expressed that, guiltily enough, he is extremely hot. What do you think?
It's like plastic surgery or something. You get a touch of some, then not enough, and get bigger and more.
I have this crazy idea that I will order pizza, and so if I do, I don't want it to go to waste. Who will eat pizza if I... Jennifer? Yes? Harrison?
Turning the Oscars into an everyone's invited dinner party with dinner.
What do you think? Julia wants cheese. Who's your favorite movie star? They're here. Well, who do you want to talk to?
And then passing a very famous hat to pay the delivery guy.
What do you have, Harvey? 200? That's a start. That's a start. Your stock just went up. You got some money now with pizza.
They were so arrogant to think that they would not get caught.
Disturbing facts that you wish you didn't know. On March 22, 2014, in Nigeria, a group of motorcycle taxi drivers formed an impromptu search party after the disappearance of one of their drivers in the area. So they investigate a forest located in Ibadan, and instead of finding their friend, they find an abandoned building that had remnants of hellish torture/murder, ritual killings, and human trafficking. 23 survivors were rescued from the building, while numerous body parts, decomposing bodies, and personal effects of victims were found in the surrounding area. And the crazy fact is that the perpetrators were never found, even though some Nigerian politicians were suspected to be involved. Colombian serial killer Pedro Alonso Lopez, who is also known as the Monster of Andes, essayed and murdered over 300 girls from Ecuador, Peru, and Colombia. However, after he was caught and imprisoned for 18 years, he was put in a psychiatric hospital. There, he was reviewed and declared to be sane and was eventually released in 1998 on a $70 bail, despite the fact that he fully intends to kill again. And to this very day, nobody knows where he is or what he's doing.
That's crazy. I saw the first one. The story was scary but interesting.
For centuries, they've been hiding this information, but it's time that you know. Christians need to understand demonology. A lot of people don't even know that word exists. The reason is because when they created a canon, there's information such as the Book of Enoch that they took out of the Bible because they believed it was too powerful for humanity to know. If you guys have ever heard of Enochian magic, then you're gonna kind of know what I'm talking about. But basically, demonology is the study of demons. Also, there is angelology, and I'll do a part 2 if you comment angelology in the comments, and I'll do a part 2 on that. But this video is going to tell you about the 7 demons in demonology who Satanists or the occult work with in order to bring your demise. The first one, most commonly known as Lucifer, is over pride. So anybody with an ego around you, somebody who can't say sorry, somebody who always thinks they're right, a narcissist basically, is walking around with the spirit of Lucifer, which is pride. The second demon we're going to talk about is Mammon, also known as greed. He rules people who are over money, who are really stingy, who all they care about is getting more. more love, more attention, more everything. They are being controlled by the spirit of Mammon. Number 3 is Asmodeus. He is the demon of lust. He also comes in the form of an incubus or a succubus. If you guys don't know what that is, just comment and ask and I'll do a video on that. But basically, a lot of people who say you're in a relationship or who do SA on people, they are being controlled by the spirit of Asmodeus. A lot of celebrities get fame because they invoke his energy, because it gives them life force. Asmodeus also goes by the name, he was the Greek god,
Zeus.
Dionysus.
No?
So if you know who Dionysus is,
Nope.
you know who Asmodeus is. That's just his name in the Greek. Whenever you're around a hater or someone who's jealous of you, that's the spirit of Leviathan. Leviathan is the spirit of envy. When people are jealous, it's like a snake, is a serpent that's trying to wrap itself around you and suck the life out of you. Leviathan is the spirit of jealousy. The next demon is Beelzebub. He's over
Ooh.
gluttony. That is
Money.
when people always must have something to fulfill themselves. They're never satisfied with anything you do for them. You could be dating someone and you're giving them all your love and they can't really appreciate it because all they want is more. You can give them all your attention, especially this is in food circumstances.
Greed.
They love to eat. They love the desires of the flesh.
Ooh.
This is Beelzebub.
I like to eat.
When you're around somebody who's always angry, that is Satan. A lot of people think Satan and Lucifer are the same person, but they're not. They're different aspects of, okay, I can't get too deep into it, but they're different entities. They're different entities, different energies. Satan is over wrath. Someone who's always angry, someone who can't express their emotions, someone who is dangerous. A lot of people who are famous, you know, like say Jeffrey Dahmer, Satan's the spirit behind him. And the last one I'm going to talk about is Belphegor. He's sloth.
What?
When you're lazy, when you can't get up to do something, when you know that you have a purpose in your life, but you're just like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. When you can't go to the gym, when you can't get up and go to work, when you feel like, wow, I slept a long time, but I'm still tired. What is that? Belphegor. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because you guys need to have power over these entities. When you say a prayer, use your words just like this. God, I call upon the war angel Michael to go against Leviathan, Belphegor, Asmodeus. Name them. The way you can really destroy a demon in the spirit is by going to its name directly. They've hid this information. Of course, saying God protect me works.
Wow.
But if you really want to be a sniper in the spirit, know how to warfare. Know who your exact enemy is. When someone is around you and your spirit of discernment picks up something, say, okay, is this a lustful spirit? Is this a prideful spirit? Is this an envious spirit? And once you pick up on it, you know who the demon is, who's behind that. Go for it and attack.
This is
There's
good.
a reason why a lot of people don't know about the book of Enoch, and that is because it talks about these angels or watchers. This is how we get information about Nephilim. This is how we understand how the world is going to be because of what it was. Revelations is just repeating what the book of Enoch was talking about. If you have any comments, if you have any ideas, if you have any questions, drop them below and I'll try to answer. My name is Solomon. This page is all about spirituality and the occult and having a higher understanding with a Christian lens and perspective.
Good video, my brother. We do not war against flesh and blood, but against spiritual principalities in high places. Make sure you are born again, folks, by accepting Jesus as your Lord and Savior. Put on the armor of God by reading the Bible daily. You can also download a Bible app which provides daily verses for you to meditate on every day. All right, folks, I'm going to end our video with this coming clip. Be kind to each other. If you haven't subscribed, please do. There's free gift below if you like, and if you want to buy me coffee or support me through Patreon, the links are also in the description below. Thank you for watching. Have a prosperous day, and God bless.
Why every time you take a man off the streets and clean him up, everybody want him? We trying to mind our business, grow our little family, and get rich. We trying to live, baby. Ain't nothing gonna break us up. I'm trying to grow my edges. And y'all interfere with my relationship. My man ain't going nowhere. Where you going, baby?
Nowhere! So y'all need to stop hating
and mind our business because I take care of this lady with my disability check. Hey, say it again, baby. With my disability check. So stop being miserable and mind your own business because I got me a man. I am very lucky. He's strong. Who's the? I'm the man. You heard him. And we be ready on the 1st every month, sitting at the bank. Say them again. They need to stop doing what, baby? Hating. You heard my man.